The McDavid contract situation in Edmonton is heating up. It's the most wonderful time of the year to be a sports fan, and a 1420 tip of the cap to an all-time great. All in the next 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Let's get into her.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast. For Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering room. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans. So sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get into it. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more for this 18th day of September 2025. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. We are part of that Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and great podcasts and great things over there on their YouTube channel. And with that, make sure you like, subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification button so you don't miss out on a single thing that's out there at the Belly Up Media Network. And you can hear my and also where we get your podcast, do the exact same thing, so you don't miss out on anything that I have to say. Anyways, man, oh man, it's the most wonderful time of the year. We'll get into that in half a second here, but it's NHL training camp time, and with that, you here in Alberta, not just in Alberta, but right across the hockey world. Connor McDavid, the talk is it's everything. Whether he's going to sign before the season starts, not going to sign, whether the holdout, blah blah blah, what might happen there. McDavid, as you know, he's at the end of his 10-year tenure. With the Oilers there, his second contract, going to make $12.5 million a year. Highly underpaid, as we all know. If he was a NBA star, an NFL star, he'd be making 40, 50 million bucks a year, but that's not how the finances work in the National Hockey League. But McDavid, as you know, he's got contractless at the end of this season, and people in Edmonton are wondering, and across the hockey world are wondering, is he going to re-sign with the Oilers prior to the season? Is he going to re-sign postseason? Is he going to get something done mid-season? And it's got to be a bit of a distraction for Oilers. The Oilers going into this season, especially after two very successful seasons. Yes, they didn't win a Stanley Cup. Going to the finals, went seven games 2 years ago and then 6 games last year, but losing out to the Florida Panthers back-to-back years. You wonder what's going to McDavid's ears and what's going to happen with him and the Edmonton Oilers moving forward. By everything he said it properly, but he's been kind of cryptic about things, saying he wants to win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton. But is that, I want to win one here, I want to win one there. That doesn't really mean a whole bunch in my eyes. I want to win one where I can win one. So by him saying that, he wants to win one in Edmonton, but he probably win one wherever he wants to go. So it's a bit cryptic what McDavid's been saying. He has basically an open checkbook. We all know that. Like, the guy is the best player on the planet. It's not close. He's done everything that you could possibly do in his 10 years for the Oilers. Art Ross trophies and Hart trophies and Conn Smythe, even on a losing team in 2024 with the Edmonton Oilers in Stanley Cup Finals, like I said earlier on. So he's done everything he could possibly do to get that team to a Stanley Cup final. Is it his fault they haven't won a cup? No, we'll get to that in half a second too. But for all reports that I've read and everything that I've talked to, a lot of people, this is big buzz here in Southern Alberta and right across the hockey world. People talk to a lot of people about this. Is he looking to see what the Oilers are going to do moving forward? Is he looking to see how this team is coming out of training camp? Is he looking to see what kind of goaltending they have this year? Because that's been their kryptonite, and that's not a hidden thing by any means. Stuart Skinner has not been good enough over the years, but to all reports, Skinner has lost 20 pounds. He's a little bit more mobile in net this year, so that might be a plus for the Oilers and their hopes to win a Stanley Cup. There's a lot of ifs and buts and candies and nuts when it comes to McDavid with what he might do, and nobody really knows. And I think that's a really scary thing for the Oilers and their fan base, but more so for the front office. I personally think he will end up re-signing with the Oilers because it's just it would be an easy way out to win something that you didn't that you built on your own, and you were part of the whole thing from the get-go. You have to be a first overall draft pick like he was back in 2015. That the team has to be pretty bad, and the Oilers were pretty bad for a number of years, but he's made this team around him, along with Leon Draisaitl. Obviously, these two guys have basically made the Oilers the upper echelon, but not at the top of the echelon. I don't know if that's even the thing, but they're an upper echelon team in the league because of those two guys. And to win a cup there might mean a lot more to McDavid because he's built that on his own and been a part of the whole thing. If he was to go somewhere else and not win a cup, or to win a cup, it'd be kind of like the Ray Bourque situation where Bourque was in Boston forever and ever and ever, and then all of a sudden, well, yeah, we want to feed you a cup, so we'll send you to Colorado. So is that something that McDavid would want to do? I personally, I don't know the guy. Obviously, I'm never going to meet the guy. I'm never going to talk to the guy. But to have the competitive spirit that guy has, you think he would want to put the final stamp on the envelope and say, I did this. This is part of my everything that I did. This is huge for me to go to another team and win a cup. Like, let's say if he was to join that juggernaut Florida team and win a cup there, would that be as fulfilling? Probably not. And winning a cup, you're going to drink the champagne and everything else, put your stupid goggles on and have a good time. But is that going to have Connor McDavid's stamp all over it, or is he going to be a carry-on guy like Luc Robitaille was in Detroit? Is it so? That's one of the reasons why I think McDavid wants to would stick around Edmonton, because his name would be all over that Stanley Cup and not somebody else's name, because McDavid would be an add-on piece and make that Florida team a lot better. He'd be not behind Marchand and not behind Tkachuk, and Tkachuk's out. That Tkachuk injury is actually quite interesting. In that Four Nations Cup last year, which I should remind Ryan, from No Credentials Required, Canada did win that one, by the way, Ryan. I'm just saying if you're listening. But I really think it'd be he'd be an add-on. And Tkachuk, he's out till at least Christmas. They're saying, with a multitude of injuries. But for him to join another team, to get another team over the hump, would kind of be a cheating per se, and it would be like, okay, I couldn't do it on my own. I needed other guys to do it. Where the greats like Gretzky, yes, he had Messier, yes, he had Fuhr, and yes, he had I don't want to say Kevin Lowe, but he had a lot of Hall of Famers on his hockey team. Gretzky did, but that was Gretzky's team that was winning those Stanley Cups back in the 80s. And you look at Mario Lemieux in the 90s, it was him. Yes, he had Jagger, and yes, he had Ron Francis, and on it goes. But so that is something that McDavid could be put into that kind of into the stratosphere with that. So I think that is one thing that works in the Oilers' favor, to have him stick around. Money's not a factor. Money's not a thing. Money's not. He's a blank check. He's going to get whatever he wants, no matter where he goes after this season. At $12.5 million this year, it's obviously a bargain. There's no getting around that, and because he's going to be making less than Mitchie Marner and some other guys around the National Hockey League, and I think he's actually going to be making less than his teammate Leon Draisaitl. And Draisaitl's been better than him on a number of occasions throughout the years. He's not a 1B, but he's like a 1C, I guess, compared to. But like Draisaitl's playoff performances have been just as good, if not better at times, than McDavid's. And so they go together. And speaking of Draisaitl, and that's another reason why I think McDavid's going to stick around, because I think when Draisaitl, because his contract is brand new this year, when Draisaitl's contract was coming up, I'm fairly certain, because they're really good friends, I'm fairly certain that McDavid and Draisaitl sat down and had a pint or two and said, okay, what are you doing? What are we doing here? Like, if we're going to be sticking around, like, I'll sign in Edmonton. I have my contracts up first. I'm going to get this much money. I'm going to do this. And Draisaitl probably said that and said, are you coming back? Are you sticking around? Like, what's going on? Because if you're not sticking around, neither am I. Because I can go anywhere else I want to. Like, Edmonton's not the most glorious place in the world by any means. And I like Edmonton. I've had a lot of good times in Edmonton, but it's not Florida. It's not LA. It's not Anaheim. It's not and on it goes, right? So you think that's kind of the telltale sign that McDavid's going to re-sign in Edmonton with the Oilers, because his best, which from everything I've read and everything been told, McDavid and him are the closest could ever be. So Draisaitl signed. I think it's a very good sign for the Oilers to think, okay, we don't have to panic, we don't have to push, we don't have to prod, we don't have to do too much. Let's not be that boyfriend who pushes a little too much and pushes the girl away. And let's not be that boyfriend who's just on the verge of breaking up, and then they start buying flowers and like, okay, now you're swooning me. You're not that kind of a guy. And I think the smart move for the Oilers would be just to step back and say, okay, play out this year. Let's see what we can do. Get something done, because you don't want to be a distraction all year long. And let's not sugarcoat this. This is going to be a distraction no matter what. If something doesn't get done by opening night wherever they're playing. If they don't get something done during the preseason, if they don't get something done today, tomorrow, or in the next week and a half or so before they start playing games, this is going to be a distraction all year long. And then what happens with the rest of the team, and the questions, and how does McDavid respond to this? Because it's a lot of pressure, and pressure is privilege. I understand there are privileges. Pressure is privilege, but eventually it would start to weigh on you. He's already rich beyond belief. I understand that, but he's going to be putting away generational money when this new contract comes up, and he'll get the biggest contract in NHL history, no matter where he goes. If he doesn't sign with the Oilers, he'll get it from the Leafs. He'll get it from LA. He'll get it from wherever he goes. It might be a good thing for him to go down to Texas, to Dallas, which would be a bad move publicity wise, and because Dallas is a big rival with the Oilers, and they've met in the playoffs over years, and then go back to the 90s when those teams met. So McDavid's best bet to me would be to stay with the Oilers. I don't see his legacy being a great getting a great boost if he goes anywhere else. Yeah, you want to win a cup, and yeah, you want to have that on your Hall of Fame plaque, and on it goes. You want to have a mini Stanley Cup on your fireplace or on your mantle, but it would mean a lot more if he won one in Edmonton. And I think it's a no-brainer for him to stay there. If he goes anywhere else, he's just going to be an add-on. If he goes to Vegas, he's an add-on. Yeah, we're just going to add another player to guarantee this, or we're going to add another player to do this. If he wins one, he'll go down as one of the all-time greats of all time to be a generational player that got the exceptional status in the OHL, and to go to a team that was really bad, that won the lottery, to have the rights to draft him, and stayed there for 10 years now, and then maybe go and maybe if they go to the finals this year, be his third straight Cup finals. That's tough to do, but is there a guarantee? Is there a guarantee the Oilers are going to be any better? No. I mean, they're, for all intent and purposes, they're not any better this year. I think they're a weaker team, and this is going to sound ridiculous. I don't think they're as good of a team this year. I mean, it's obviously first day of training camp, so what do I know? I don't follow the rookies and the prospects and the free agent signings that they brought up, like the average or the real hockey dork figures out. But I don't think they're as gritty a team as they were last year with guys like Corey Perry and Evander Kane. I just think that those kind of playoff guys really helped out them getting to the finals for the last 2 years. And I just think that was a big mistake on the Oilers' behalf. So what happens this year? What happens in the first 10 games? What happens in the first 20 games? What happens at the trade deadline? If nothing's signed, sealed, and delivered, do you trade McDavid? As dumb as that sounds, do you? Because you need to get some kind of return on investment. And if somebody like the Vegas Golden Knights, or probably wouldn't be an Eastern Conference or Western Conference team, sorry, it might be probably an Eastern Conference team. But if someone like, I'm just going to throw this out there because you guys who listen to this show know I'm a Leafs guy. Let's just say that there's cap room at the trade deadline. They make some deals, make some moves, blah blah blah, whatever it's going to be. And if McDavid's not signed, do the Leafs pick him up? Why not? If he could win a cup there, that would be him jumping in there, and that would be a generational thing, and they would be naming schools and streets after the guy. So is that a chance? If the Rangers, I should have used the Rangers as a different trade bait thing, but would it be something if the Oilers don't have something and they don't have a commitment beyond 2026? What do you do? What do you do? Because without him, they aren't very good. Yeah, they have Draisaitl, but they're a mid-year They're a mid-range team. They're good. They're really good with a superstar, but they're not uber level upper echelon. So the Oilers they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, being that boyfriend who's trying to hold on to everything, hold on to that hot girlfriend, right? And so what do you do? But at some point, the Oilers might say, you know what? We need to have a commitment, not now, but right now, because we need to know not just for the next 8 years, but past June. We need to know, because we need to start planning for free agents and how much money we have, and the cap's going up. And that's another thing, is that McDavid is in a spot right now where he can't sign now. And as dumb as that sounds, he can't sign now and undervalue himself. He can't just not take the most, because it's still a business. Yes, Jim, the fan of the van. You probably won't listen to this, is a hockey podcast, not a football podcast today, but like it is a business. And the NHLPA probably doesn't want him to sign yet, because if he sets the bar at $16 million for the next 4 years with the cap going up, the PA is going to be like, well, Jesus, man, you could have got 20. And then other guys would have made more. We would have put pressure on the owners to make more. And so he's kind of in a tough spot right now, where he can't be the first one to open the wallet up and say, put 16 million sheets in here for 8, because that Kaprizov from the Minnesota Wild, he got offered 16, 8 years, 128 million. He said no. He said no, I'm good. Does he want out? No, because apparently they didn't want to have they wanted a no trade clause, and Kaprizov said no, is how the report came out. So I'm not a big fan of no trade clauses. Like if you're an employee, and I know this is ridiculous. If you're an employee, you're an employee. If you're not putting up and shutting up, get out. We should be able to trade you. If someone wants to take on your salary, I should be able to get rid of you. As an owner, I should be able to get rid of you anytime I want. I should. Yes, you made a commitment to me, but I also put a big investment in you. So don't be a screw up and make me want to trade you when I'm giving you 16 million a year. So guys who are making 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, or 50 million or whatever it is in other sports, they shouldn't have to be worried about no trade clauses. And you should want that no trade clause just in case something didn't work out. If something didn't work out on the team's end or your end or whatever happens, you should want that out. Not to get traded on a whim, but if you're a superstar who's producing and doing whatever you got to do, they're not going to trade you. So having a no trade clause to me is a bit stupid. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're living up to your contract and do what you can do, see you later. Like, don't worry about the no trade clause. And so that's something that's going to happen with McDavid, and he has to set the bar, especially with the cap going up. Because all of a sudden that $16 million a year contract is going to like $120 million somehow in the next couple of years. And so that's a big pay raise for McDavid. He could be a $25 to $30 million guy, because you can get 20% of the, is that the math? It's math rate there. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, and a lot of pressure on a guy who's 27 going on 28 years old. It's a lot of pressure to have the entire franchise resting on your shoulder. It's a lot of pressure to the NHLPA barking down your neck saying, "Hey, don't undersell yourself." Even though he could say, "You know what? I want to win." He could do the Sidney Crosby thing, and we'll get to that in half a second. Like, he could do the Sidney Crosby thing and take a team-friendly contract to load things up on the back end, because we need a goalie, we need a defenseman, we need this, we need a third line winger, and those cost money. Not a third line winger, but you guys understand what I'm saying. So he could say, you know what? I want to win so badly. I'll keep playing I'll match whatever Draisaitl's playing for, which would be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare for the NHLPA, because every other player and every other agent would be like, oh, geez, we're screwed. Because if McDavid's playing for 13, they're in good conscience. There's no owner. And no player should be asking for more than what McDavid's making. They shouldn't. They'd be like, Connor McDavid's 10 times exponentially better than you. Exponentially better than you. And you're asking for more money than him? And they're not winning either? Or they got to the finals 2 years in a row, and you want 15, 16, 17 million dollars, and Connor McDavid's getting 14. I think that's what Draisaitl got. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. So he's got a lot of pressure on him. And there's a lot of moving parts here that he has to kind of just take a step back. And I get it that not signing. I think it's a bit of a cop out right now by not really saying anything. But what do you say? Yeah, I want to see how our team is. I want to see a commitment. I want to see what we got coming up in the farm. Well, you know, like but I just think, what's his legacy going to be if he goes elsewhere? And I don't think it will count as much. I think, like, if you are on a team and you were there from the bad years and the lean years, and then you gut it out and you end up winning a Stanley Cup, that would mean a lot more. He said he's committed to win a cup, but it was side speak. He's committed to winning the Stanley Cup in Edmonton because he's playing there this year. No shit, it took me 20 minutes and 45 seconds to swear, but no kidding. You're committed to winning a cup. You better be. I'm still paying you $12.5 million to play here this year. We went to 2 cup finals. You better be committed this year. So that was a bit of a twist of words and everything else that McDavid came out of his mouth last week when they were at that Olympic thing for the It's just I just don't. I think he signs. I think he signs. I think there's unfinished business. And I think it would mean a lot more to him to win one there. I think it would mean a lot more to the fans of the fans of Edmonton than it would mean to the fans of, let's say, if he won one in New York, or if he won one in LA, or if he won one in maybe Toronto's the exception to this one. But I think to be part of the rebuild and the regroup and everything else, and to go to 2 cup finals, and then to maybe, if he wins one there, he leaves. There's that option. Who has more money? Where do I want to spend my winters? Where does my wife want to spend her winters? If he wins one this year in Edmonton, is he like, you know what? I did it. Did what I said I was going to do. I'm out. I'm going to go where there's palm trees and rainbows and unicorns. You know, I'm going to go where I can live in anonymity a little bit. I'm going to go where I'm the 3rd most popular athlete in this town. I got money to spend. I got money to burn. Is that an option? Win one this year, and then, you know what? Let's discuss it, and I'm out. Is that maybe? I just thought of this. Maybe that's the thing. I want to win one, and then I'm out. I want to go where it's warm. I want to go where there ain't any snow. Jimmy Buffett. Right? It's maybe that's the thing. Win one, see you later. And then maybe go to Toronto. Hometown. Go win one there. That would be legacy stuff. Maybe that's it. No one knows. No one knows. And I don't think McDavid knows. If he knew, I'm sure there would be. You listen to all the talking heads, and you listen to the management of the Oilers and all the other. Nobody knows, and that's got to be tough to not know where you're getting your paycheck next year. He knows he's getting one. He knows he's getting a great one, but what do? It's a lot of pressure, and winning a Stanley Cup, there's no guarantees. If you go somewhere else, like, how much closer can he get? He went to Game 7 last year. 2 years ago now. Game 6 last year. And he wasn't great in the finals. Game 7, they got shut out, I think it was. Game 6, nothing better. So he's partially to blame. He got them there, and Draisaitl got him there. I know that. I know that. Don't at me and don't message me and everything else. They got them there. But he got outplayed by Barkov, outchecked his scoring. So he's not to blame, but he's kind of to blame. So what does he do? Does he stay in Edmonton after this season? I think he does. I think that the like I said earlier, I think the Draisaitl thing is the biggest thing that keeps him around. Because I can't see why Draisaitl wouldn't have even got a different offer or a different option or went hunting for a contract or sniffing around. Because he's in the same situation right now that last year Draisaitl is, that McDavid is right now. I would find it hard to believe that he would leave. And then you hear people say, well, he built a big house and he can build a big house anywhere. Might be cheaper elsewhere. Building stuff in Edmonton isn't cheap. You know, all the underground, the driveway heating and everything. You don't need that in Florida. I can't see him not staying. I can't see him not sticking around. But there's a reason why he hasn't signed. There's a reason why there wasn't a contract on the table today when they hit the ice for the first time for training camp. That's got to get people a little concerned. And at what point do the Oilers go, you know what? Do you start being that boyfriend who's just losing the girl, just losing her, and she's starting to go out a little bit. She's starting to talk to other guys, hiding her phone, doing all the stuff. Do the Oilers become that jealous boyfriend at some point and say, what are we doing? And pressure. And say, are we doing this or not? Because they gotta look beyond this year. And if McDavid's not there, they could get a pretty good return. But what's a good return? What's a good return for one of the best hockey players ever play the game? Prospects and picks? No. This isn't Gretzky getting traded for Jimmy Carson back in 1988. This is way different. This is money and everything else, and this isn't a sale. This is way bigger. So at what point do the Oilers say, listen, man, but you can't pressure him too much because then he might leave? It's a spicy meatball no matter which way you look at it. And it's going to be tough to dissect how it's all going to turn out. But if I were a betting man, I would say he's going to stick around just because, and just to win that championship. But here, like I said earlier on, here's the hot take of the day. Here's the hot take. This is a Brent originally. I didn't hear it anywhere else. If he wins a cup this year with the Oilers and doesn't have a contract, he's gone. He's going somewhere else to win somewhere else where it's a little bit warmer and a little bit nicer, and there's not as many diesel trucks warming up their vehicles all night long. Edmonton's a great place to play hockey, and they're probably the greatest fans in the world, the loudest fans in hockey, but it ain't that warm, and it ain't that nice sometimes. It's a beautiful city, but boy, oh boy, can it get real crappy real quick. It's beautiful up there right now. Like weather's been beautiful in Alberta all week long, but it's unbelievable nice. It's been 27, 28 degrees, which is 75, 76 degrees. Been phenomenal. But there's the hot take. If McDavid wins one this year, he's out. If he doesn't win, he sticks around. You didn't see that one coming, did you? Anyways, that's the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. First segment of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. This segment was brought to you by SeatGeek.com and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. Coming back, here's a little word from our sponsor over there at Righteous Felon Jerky.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon Jerky.
Go over there to righteousfelon.com and use promo code BELLYUP at righteousfelonjerky.com and save yourself 15% and get yourself the best jerky in the land over there at Righteous Felon Jerky. I love beef jerky. I say this every time we promo their wares, but I love it. Like beef jerky, just such a hearty snack. This stuff is good. We were at somewhere. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later. Anyways, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and I don't think any sports fan can disagree with me. Yeah, the NFL that's in week 3 now. Yeah, you have, and Jesus, I laugh. I'm not the biggest NFL guy, as you know, but I laugh at all these people say, "This is our year," and then the quarterback's done, and that's it. Joe Burrow, yeah, you're not very good. He's done. And then, yeah, you're done. So the teams are just done, and they're done, and they're done, and they're done. Week 3, people are already jumping off cliffs. It's over. And that's one thing I like about college football. College football fans are more realistic. When their team loses, like Notre Dame's 0-2. I was listening to the guys over there, Craft Boot Sports, this morning, and Notre Dame's 0-2. So they're like, well, we're done. No point watch this anymore. They'll watch just as fans because you're supposed to, but there's no lofty expectations anymore. They can just watch and just go, okay, well, that's it. Like it takes the ease off of October and November football. They go, yeah, well, they won. Great on, but they're not worried about everybody else. It's just fun. And then obviously the NHL got going. There's training camp got going today. And then, of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs get rolling in a week and a half or so. And the Yankees they're up as the time of this recording, they're up 7-0 on Baltimore. And I wrote them off. Obviously, I wrote them off back when I was in Victoria. I think it was August 1st or August 2nd. I did a show out there at my hotel room. But now, you know what? They could be 3 games out after. I don't think they're going to catch the Jays. The Jays are a little bit of a bump in the road in Tampa last couple of days, losing 2 out of. They split series in Tampa, but the Jays are really good. And making up 3 games in the last week and a half of the season is pretty tough, but it's wide open. I don't think there's a favorite by any means of anybody doing anything. I hope that the Yankees get there, but I don't think they got the horses, as I said earlier on. But if they get a spot start here and a spot to start there from somebody, you just never know. And I think this is going to be one of the better playoffs of all in recent memory, because nobody's a clear-cut favorite to win this thing. Nobody is like, yeah, they got a pitching staff, or they got a bullpen, or they got this guy, or they got that guy. No one has that, and I think I think you're going to see something really, really great this October. The one thing that, not the one thing, but one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, but not looking forward to, is a Yankees Red Sox wild card round. We're coming up on 21 years now since the Red Sox won that first World Series. The first one in a long time in 2004. 21 years since that fateful day when Dave Roberts stole second base in the 0-3-0 down. Blah blah blah. We don't want to bring up too many bad memories, but it's been 21 years since that happened, and they've had some playoff battles since then. But a best of 3, to me, is almost sacrilegious between the Yankees and the Red Sox. The rivalry's kind of picked up a little bit, and it's been the couple of teams that really think they have a shot at doing something. The Red Sox they've taken a bit of a step back this week, losing a couple to the Sacramento Athletics. That's a whole geez, I don't get that, but it'd be almost sacrilegious to have those 2 teams, those 2 historic teams, playing in a best of 3. It's just a best of 5, and a best of 7 is fantastic, but a best of 3, it's just you get one crappy start from somebody and one good start from somebody, and then that's it. It's just over, and it doesn't do the game of baseball much justice. I talk all the time much of baseball purist I am, and how much I love the game, and I don't know if the best of 3 is the best thing for baseball. It doesn't give you any juice. And did you really make the playoffs? You got 2 extra games. Right on. I mean, it's better than 1 that they used to get for a wild card game, but you got two more games, and the Colorado Rockies are going to lose 110, 120 games this year. So I don't know if I like the wild. I like that there's teams, but there's not really many races going on anymore. Yeah, there might be somebody sneak in, sneak out there, but there's not many races that are happening right now. So I don't know how much juice it's actually bringing to the game, and it kind of waters down the playoffs once they get going. A best of 3 is so to me. Like it could be done by for me as a Yankee guy, it could be done by next Wednesday, to 2 Wednesdays from now. You know what I mean? But it could be just done. And then what did you really do? Nothing. So I don't know how much I like that. And talking about alluded to it earlier on about Sidney Crosby. I hate to say I told you so, but Brent told you so. And Brent's been saying this for about 18 months now. Sidney Crosby's on his way out of Pittsburgh, and it might be too late. They might not get the return that they wanted. They held on to him for too long. It's been reported that him and his agent have kind of been talking about, yeah, maybe it's time to go. And there's teams lurking around. And Montreal seems to be, for some reason, which is odd to me. Montreal hasn't been a playoff team, or hasn't been very good. And everybody's jerking off Montreal for some reason this year. And I don't know enough about the Montreal Canadiens to say why, but they're saying they're the team they're going to be they're the one. They're going to come and straighten this thing out. And you look out for the Canadians. Look out. They're not better than Florida, so shut up. Who cares? They're not. So it doesn't matter in the Eastern Conference. But there's rumors about that he's going to be going there. But what does Montreal give up for 2 years? Montreal's got a lot of great young players, a lot of guys in the that are established hockey players. But what does Pittsburgh want in return for Sidney Crosby? They would want those guys who are established players and guys who. So why would Montreal make that trade? It doesn't make sense because what do you got Crosby for 3 years? He'd be better than anybody on their team. But what are you giving up? It would make Montreal a lesser team than they are now to get Sidney Crosby, or a lesser team 3 years from now, right? Because he ain't getting younger. I mean, he'll play for 3 more years. He'll still be an elite player in the National Hockey League. But Crosby's moving. But I don't think it's going to Montreal. And I told you so. I hate to say I told you so, everybody. No, I don't. I actually like being right. I love being right. I like being right more than just about anything, because it doesn't happen very often when you do these shows. But he's moving. And it's going to be this year. And I still think he goes to Colorado, goes with McKinnon. 8.7 is such a great number. Like, that money's nothing in comparison, especially at the deadline. That's nothing to move around. Plop him in there, get to not a guarantee, but man, oh man, that makes the Colorado Avalanche even better than they already are. I think he goes there. I still do, and I was right. I told you so. Brent Radlinsky told you so on the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. But yeah, it's going to be a great month, September, going down the home stretch, watching baseball. I just love. It's just so fun. And when you become a mathematician a little bit, especially with the three out, and the Yankees have they got. After tonight, they got 6 left against Baltimore, and then 3 against the White Sox, and then so you never know. You just never know. And Toronto's got Tampa one more time, and Tampa struggles, or Tampa kind of eats up Toronto's lunch a little bit. So you just never know what could happen in the American League East. And then everything else is going to happen. And Cleveland's hot, but they're Cleveland. They aren't going to win anything. It's the World Series. It's up for grabs. It's really up for grabs. And we're going to end the show here with no, actually, I'm not going to. Actually, let's do this. It was announced today, and I'm going to do this. The 1420 tip of the cap goes out to Clayton Kershaw, who announced today that this will be his last season in professional baseball. He's going to retire at the end of this season. Whether he's on the playoff roster or not remains to be seen. But Clayton Kershaw is one of the classiest guys to ever play. Probably one of the greatest left-handed pitchers I've ever witnessed live. I got to watch him a few times at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles, and he just so good. MVP award in 2014, 3 Cy Youngs, Gold Glove, blah, all of it. Gets a bit of a rough knock by his non-playoff success, but it's not really his fault. But there was one that he shouldn't have been put into that situation. They got put in 2019, I think it was. But he's just a class act and a great pitcher. That big looping curveball that just spooks people out to this day. He had a couple of outings this year. When he got his 3,000 strikeout, I think he's at 3,032 strikeouts. I think he's definitely I know he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got 1.5 World Series under his belt, plus his personal accolades, and just one of the greatest the greatest Dodger pitcher I ever seen. I never seen Koufax, so I shouldn't say. So I'm not speaking out of turn, but he's better than Valenzuela, and he's better than Hershiser, and those are 2 other guys that are on that Mount Rushmore. I would say of Dodger pitchers over the years. He's just great. The sweaty cap, the whole bit with Clayton Kershaw on that great big curveball. It's something to watch. It's going to be. But it's time, and he's leaving at the top. A few injuries here and there in the last few years, and he pitches hard out every time he goes out there. Great big smile, and he's one of the best. So once again, a 1420 tip of the cap goes out to Yeah, I would like the greatest Dodger pitcher in my lifetime for sure. There's no, and I don't think that's debatable. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. There it is. That's it. I was going to say something else, but I decided not to. I don't know enough about it, but I know enough about it. I just there's a lot of disturbing stuff going on in the world right now, so I'm going to keep the political spectrum out of things. I have my opinions. I'm keeping to myself because you say one thing one way or say one thing the other way, it pisses off both sides. So sometimes it's better just keep your yap shut. So anyways, there it is. The 1420 Sports Bar podcast, for beer sports, talking a whole lot more. Make sure you go to the Belly Up YouTube channel, subscribe there. Go to the 1420 YouTube channel, subscribe there. Listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And as well, make sure you hit the subscribe button so it comes up when we're out there. Trying to get more out there now. Deanne's back from her trip to Greece, so I'm going to be hiding down here a lot. No, I'm kidding. She had a great time, and yeah, so just couldn't get on this week because we wanted to catch up. She was away for 3 weeks. It's a long time. This was fun. This is a fun show tonight. I really enjoyed this. 40 minutes went by like nothing. Comments in the comment section, anything you want, and let me know what you thought about the show. There's some other comments. Got some guests coming up next week as we get into the playoff push for the Major League Baseball. And I'm trying to get I got a line on a guy from Edmonton what he thinks about the this McDavid situation. It's interesting, but I'm telling you, if he wins a cup this year, he's gone. If he doesn't, he stays. I know it sounds dumb, but it makes complete sense to me. There it is, the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, for beer sports, talking a whole lot more. Make sure you guys tune in. Obviously, Jim the Fan of the Van, one of the greatest podcasters out there. Cigar and Sports on Saturday nights with him and E-Man. My guys down there at Craft Brewed Sports, listen to their show. Always a very, very fun show to listen to. Two Guys Sports News, listen to them. Great college football talk if you're into college football and pro football talk, and then everything else. And then the Jays podcast, the bases low, and just on and on. If you haven't checked out show I did a couple weeks back with the guys from Around the Ballpark podcast, they're great. We had a great time. They're very traditionalist. It was very good. And he had I think it was last week, Darren, his name is, he told a story about going to a Billy Joel concert during a Mets game. So make sure you listen to that one. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic story. Baseball purist, great stories. I enjoyed being on that show, and I hope to get them on this one, or I'll go on theirs again before the playoffs start. But anyways, there it is. Gonna get out of here. The 1420 Sports Bar podcast, for beer sports, talking a whole lot more. And remember, everybody, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Have yourselves a great day whenever you listen to this, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, for beer and sports, talking a whole lot more, brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Let's get in.